So since we left off from last time, I kind of cleaned up the scene collection over here. I got rid of some stuff that we didn't need anymore. I got rid of Cloud. We don't need anything from him anymore. But like I've said before, if you've never done this before, please don't delete anything until you're ready to extract the mod when you've already put it in Unreal Engine and you've seen that it works in game. Then you can delete stuff. I'm just deleting just because I know I don't need it. And if we do need it, I mean, we could always just re-import Cloud again. But what's left of this Glenn model is his cape and his skirt. I did not connect it to Cloud simply because Cloud didn't have any part of his mesh that we could use for this. So we have to use another model from the game to do this. So this part will be showing you how to merge skeletons together. First thing I noticed though is that we did move this skirt piece when his legs were spread. So we are going to put them back in place. We don't have any vertex groups though, so we're gonna have to sculpt this back in place. The cape should be fine, so we're not gonna touch that. Instead, we're gonna touch the skirt, go into sculpt mode, change this radius to 50, and we're gonna be on the x-axis. Okay. Again, I believe the cape is okay. We can take a look at it. Yeah, that looks okay. Alright. So now that we have that sculpted to where we want it to be, let's hit save again, which is Control S. And let's go find a model in the game that has a cape physic and a model that has maybe a skirt physic, or we might also use a cape physic for this. I'm not sure. So let's open up F model. Alright. Once it finishes loading, you can load all packages. Go into end, content, and characters. Alright, I know for sure from my own mod that I made, a Batman mod, that the best cape to use is Dio's. Dio is a non-playable character, so he's going to be down here. He's like NP 300 and something, I believe. I don't even think there's that many. My bad. But he's somewhere down here. Oh, up here. Dio standard. So if you open this up, you can see Dio. Dio has the perfect cape for this. I know Cloud has his own little cape, but that is terrible to use simply because it kind of goes over the shoulder and that shoulder pad he has, and it just doesn't look nice. Dio does though, so we will use Dio for this. So let's go ahead and save his model. It's going to take a little bit. But while that is loading, we can try to kind of brainstorm what character we can use that has like a little tiny skirt like this. I will say someone like Vincent is no good. He also has a cape, but his is no good. We know that Cloud, his model, is no good either. You may think, oh, Aerith has one. Aerith is also no good. I've tried combining her skeleton with Cloud while she has a skirt. At least her standard model doesn't work, but I think I've been told by VX in the server, VX Sapphire I think is her name on Nexus, is that her Loveless model works. So let's try to look for that one. Let's go to player, Aerith Loveless. maybe this one. Let's see. Let's go to our model. I have a mod over this, which I think is this one, and it's VX's own model. And actually, looking at the length of this compared to the length of this, no, you know what? Let's use her original model. Yeah. Let's make sure that Loveless Thing didn't have... Oh, it's a little bit more simple, so we'll use this one. Okay. So we can extract this. It's going to take a little bit again. But while that is loading, let's load in Dio into Blender. So while we have this open, we're going to hit N to open up this side tab. Find our PSK, where is it? Oh, right here. And we're going to go to our documents, Rebirth Modding, and find Dio. Take a little bit. Once he's loaded in, let's see if Aerith finished. She's still loading. Okay. So let's go ahead and scale down Dio to fit Cloud. We're not going to pose Dio, there's no reason to. We just need him here in order to take his cape physics. We can hide that just so we can see it a little bit better. I think where we had him was perfect. We can kind of move him up and back a little bit if we need to. I think that's good there. Okay. Alright. So now that that's there, we can turn the overlay back on. Let's see if Aerith is done. She's all done. So let's go ahead and bring her in. I'm going to name this Dio Armature Dio, just so we know who that is. And let's bring in Aerith next. Take a little bit. There she goes. Okay. And now let's hide Dio for now. Let's scale Aerith up. Just need her to where kind of her hips align with this. That's pretty good. It looks like her hips are where we need it to be. I'm actually gonna put it down a little bit. She's so much taller, I realized. Huh. Okay. Anyway. Let's see. Compared to this armature, she would have to be all the way down here. If I zoom in, I can see where the leg bones are. Okay, we'll leave her there. We won't make her too big. Okay, once she is there, we can also close her off, and we'll name this Armature Aerith. Okay, so we'll work on Dio first. We'll hit N to close that. We'll hide the armature that we have here. We can also hide everything Glenn related. Alright, so now with Dio open, we can look at this in our solid mode. We are going to go ahead and just select the cape. Okay, so now with this cape, we have this cape right here. I'll actually get rid of this. We won't use this. I thought we would, but we won't. So let me just get rid of that. Alright, so now that we already removed the armature modifier and the vertex groups, we can go ahead and weight transfer from Dio's cape. Now what we can do is we can parent this to Dio's armature. It looks like it's all good. We don't need anything else from Dio, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the rest of Dio. So we can call this our cape armature. Turn overlay back on, and this is something that we're gonna definitely need to make sure we have set up when we do combine skeletons, but I'm just gonna do it right now since I'm here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to items, have the armature selected, and as you can see my location is off and so is my scale. So I'm gonna hit Control A and apply all transforms, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the cape. Okay. So now that we have all of this done, we can close it and we can worry about the skirt object. Obviously it's not in the same place as a cape, so we can't use that. We're going to use Aerith for it. So let's separate out what we need from Aerith next. And we can open up the skirt. So we don't need to scale Aerith more than we already have, because again, the way that we are doing this is by using nearest face interpolated, so it kind of makes up for something not being directly over something else. So this should work just as is. If not, we can always try something else. Save, and now we're gonna have to go find something that is in the Discord server. So open up Discord. Let's go over to, I believe this is in resources. We're gonna scroll up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna need two things. These are both provided by WTails. Really cool dude. So we're gonna need first this Blender plugin called Fuse Skeletons. So let's go ahead and download that. I already have it installed, but you would just go ahead and I think you have to find which version of Blender you're using. So you might have to go to releases. Yeah. So this is if you have Blender 4, but if you have a different version of Blender, use this one. So I have that downloaded already, and we're gonna need something else from WTails. Is this full cast or cast full skeleton? So this, I mean, if you want to read, it's basically he combined all the skeletons that each character has. We know that each character has multiple different outfits, and so by combining these together, they allow you to create a model that can go over multiple different outfits of the model. Obviously, this was really important when we were doing model importing the normal way, but now that we have dress code, we don't really have to use this anymore. But I still think it's pretty helpful, and honestly, it's been a while since I've modded this game. I can't remember if we still need to do this for dress code, so I will just show you how to do it anyway. Alright, so now with that downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to my documents folder, the one that holds all my Rebirth stuff. I'm going to go ahead and move it here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and extract this. And now that I have it extracted, it holds blend files for each main character. Obviously this is a cloud mod, so we're going to open up this blend file. It's in Blender 4.2. Don't worry if you don't have Blender 4.2, you can still open it up in your old Blender. It will just give you a warning that this was created in a newer version of Blender, like down here. So expect quote-unquote loss of data. There's nothing that we need other than the armature, so don't worry about it. One thing we will do while we're here is that we have to change our scene units, simply because the scene units in this Blender are different from the ones that we have in the blend file that we're editing. So we're going to change this to 0.01 and this to centimeters. That way it aligns with what we have. Hit the armature, and all you have to do is Control C to copy. Now we can go ahead and go to open recent, and right, because this is from a different blend file. We are going to go to this Blender, and we're gonna just paste it in. There we go. This is simply because I do have Blender 4.2 downloaded, but I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna hit save. Save as. Let's just override, and I can delete that. Okay. So now with this model in, it's using these octahedral bones. I'll change it to stick just so I can see better. And what we're going to do first is we're going to make a copy of this just in case we mess up, and we're going to work off of the copy. So first we're going to take everything that we know is parented to Cloud's armature, which is everything here under this last armature. We're going to select the armature, shift select down, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to reparent one more time. Alright, now that we've reparented, we have to select the new armature again. And we're going to hit Control L to copy the modifiers, and we can just check by scrolling down. They all have the same armature as the object. Cool. Alright, so now with this here, we're going to hit N. The armature should be perfectly like reset here because we just re-imported. But everything else probably is something that we moved or we scaled. So we're going to select all of our meshes and we're just going to apply transforms. Okay, we can just scroll down again. Everything's good. Obviously dimensions are going to be different because that's the actual object. The objects aren't the same size. Okay, now that we have that, we already applied transforms to everything else. Just go ahead and save because you might mess something up here. And then once you put in your fuse skeleton plugin, go ahead and find it on the side, and it will tell you how to use it here. But in terms of how to use it, you want to make sure that you open up whatever you're gonna fuse first. Let's do Aerith first. You want to select only the armature, and then from here you want to select the armature that you're going to fuse into. So we're going to fuse into the cloud combined skeleton, so we're going to choose this. Alright, now that we have that chose, just save again and hit fuse skeleton. Now this has combined Cloud's full skeleton along with that one Aerith skeleton. So now this means that everything is parented to the correct armature, and we should be able to move this around. I won't do it yet. I'll do it after I combine this next one. So we're going to do the same thing with the cape. We're we're going to fuse into that PC 000-00 copy, and we're going to hit fuse. There we go. So I don't know if you saw it, but it kind of got rid of some bones that were from Dio's hand. This is because this this plugin will delete bones with the same name, and obviously since this is from the same game, it will delete hand bones that aren't in use from the old armature, which is why we didn't have to scale Dio or Aerith, other than, you know, the parts that we needed. Okay, so now we can check to see if this actually works by going into pose mode. We have way more bones than before. That's fine. We can hide our overlay. For our first one, move stuff like our leg, and move stuff like our spine. We'll see it works. You see the skirt like this, that's fine. This is just how skirts move for the game. Like if you ever import Aerith and you move her, that's how it will move. So don't worry about that. It's nothing that's broken. Again, we can kind of move spine D. We see the cape moves along, and we still have, if we go down enough, we still have our cape there and our loveless skirt as well. So all the bones that we really did need that Cloud didn't have are now part of Cloud's skeleton. Okay. Alright, so now we can save this, and now we are completely done with everything in Blender except a couple of things. One is our UV map. So first I'm just going to rename this to armature. Reason being is that Unreal Engine will only read an armature that's called armature. So make sure that's named armature. This name doesn't really matter, it'll matter later when we export, but not right now. And we're gonna go ahead and check a couple of things. Well, something we have to check is to make sure our backface culling actually works. So we can check the hair next. Let's see, we have, okay, I guess it uses 2 material slots. I have a feeling it uses the same one. Let's see. Yeah. Oh yes, it's just no backface culling on. Okay. Turn this on, we see we kind of like lose some hair depth. So we are going to go ahead and select this. Shift D. We're gonna take one. We're gonna go into edit mode. Select all. We will recalculate one outside. Then we're going into the other one. If we hit A, we're gonna recalculate inside. Alright, so now that we have that fixed, another thing that we have to look at is our UV map names. Usually this does not matter if you're taking everything from your custom character, but because we're using stuff from Cloud, we can see that our UV map names are different. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to rename everything that's Glenn's originally, but to make this easier, we're just going to combine it. That way we don't have to rename everything one by one. So I'm going to choose everything that was from Glenn. I'm going to Control J, and everything else was from Cloud. Okay. Oh, and his beard. Just forgot. Okay. So, first, we can rename the first UV group. It's going to be UV single. And we see that we have an extra UV map here. For cloud, we see that we have 3 UV maps. We know they're used for, most of the time, for 2 of them. Your first UV map is what you see, which is your color map. The second UV map is related to your occlusion map, so you always need one, even though it might be the duplicate of the first one, you still need it. And the third map uses detail in relation to clothes and skin. There still is a third UV map on stuff like eyes. I don't know what that's used for. I don't think anyone has figured that out yet. Maybe they have. But honestly, you don't really need it. So we don't have to create a third one. If you do, you have to like scale it up by 100, do all that fun stuff. But we don't need to do that right now. So instead, to make our lives easier, we won't do it. We do have to make a duplicate though. That is, I think, everything we had to do here in Blender. So let's go ahead and save this armature out. We're gonna select the armature, shift select everything else, go to File, Export. We're gonna export as FBX. Let's find that Rebirth folder, and we're gonna put it in our mod files. As you can see, I already have one cloud here. I don't even know what this is. I don't care. I'm going to delete it. That way we have it renamed. If for some reason you didn't have this, you could always copy the name from this green guy up here, just getting rid of anything after the dot. Okay, so once I have this here, I gotta change a couple of settings here. So let me expand this. That way we can see more. First is that we want to limit to selected objects. Obviously we have other stuff in here. If for some reason we didn't do this, it's gonna basically take everything that's in Blender, regardless if it can see it, if it's in the viewport or not. So you want to choose only selected objects because we only want what's selected. Next, you want to change our object types only to armature and mesh, so you want to shift select that. Keep scale at 1 because we did our scale change in Blender in the scene units already. Next, you want to go to geometry and change your smoothing from normals to face. Don't have to touch anything else here. Open up armature, untick, add leaf bones, and same thing with bake animation. Now you're ready to export. It does it pretty quickly, and once it's done, we're ready to try to figure out how to re-download the custom engine. I'm not looking forward to this, so we will stop here. Alright.